Now I'm going to talk about another very interesting feature of Power BI desktop application, that is what if parameter. As the name suggests, we can actually put a condition, and based on the condition, the control will be given to the consumer of the report, and they can see that in which scenario how the data will look like. Okay, suppose if I go to the product details page, here you will notice one thing, that we have already created a chart in the name of monthly revenue. Now this is showing us the trend of the revenue. But what if the consumer says, if the company says or the client says that if we could have increased the price of the product by, let's say, 10%, 20%, 30%, how it is going to impact the overall revenue that we have generated. So this they can see. And similarly, it could be the cost also. It could be any other parameter you can think of, right? So based on that, they will be able to see that how much that is going to impact on another parameter, right? So let us take the similar example and create a what if scenario, and we will be giving a control to the consumer solely, and based on that they will see that how it is impacting the historical data, right? So here we go. For this, if you see, if you go to the modeling tab, under the modeling tab you have what if group. Here you have an option of a new parameter. Let me just click on this and it will open up a pop-up for us. Now it says the name of the parameter. I would say I would like to assign a the parameter is going to be price, okay, and the consumer will be having the control over adjustment of the price. They will change the price or the percentage of increment or increment in the price, and they want to see the impact of the same onto the revenue, right? So for this, I would say the name of this what if parameter is going to be price adjustment, right? It's not going to be a whole number, but it's going to be a percentage. So we will be creating a measure in which it is going to impact the revenue. So we'll say data type is going to be a decimal number, which stands for a percentage. Minimum, I would say -1, which is 100, negative 100%, and maximum it's going to be 1, which is positive 100%. So that change in the existing price, that control will be given to the consumer of the report. And now the increment, I would say 0.1, which is increment of 10%. I'll show you everything, and the default it start from 0. Now we'll say add slicer to this page. Now this entire thing will come into two ways. One, it's going to be a slicer on the page. The second one is going to be another kind of a table in front of us, where it will be capturing that adjustment value which has been selected by the consumer of the report. Now the moment I click OK, it will end up creating the slicer for us. So it's working right now. Let me show you that how it's going to look like. So let's wait for a few seconds, and it's working. As you can see, I am getting a slicer with me. Now I will be creating some space for the slicer. For this, I'm going to adjust this particular visual, and I'll simply drag it slightly and squeeze it so that I can keep this slicer over here at the top. I'll come over here, I'll place it, and there I go. I'll simply drag it over here till the end of this page. Here it is, right? And I think I would be needing some more space. Let me just stretch it slightly more and want to show you that how it's going to look like. So this is the 0%, right? And let me squeeze it slightly so that you can see the title of this, which is going to be price adjustment. Here you go. I'll also copy this break as I'm doing it every time, so that I'll keep my report very clean. The visual will be The placement of the visual should be very clean enough. So there I go. So this is how I've created this slicer. Along with the slicer, you may have noticed something that is coming under the fields group over here, which is price adjustment table, and it is checked because it is something has been used from this over here into the selected visual, which is our slicer. Now let me just expand it to show you that how it looks like and what all things we have into this. It says price adjustment as well as price adjustment value, which is a measure, right? Now, once I have selected this, you can see in the formula bar, price adjustment is nothing but that's generate series between -1 and 1 with the increment of 0.1. This is what we have mentioned into that box. And generate series is a DEX function which can be used further, in which you can actually generate the series. Just random number, you remember that the similar thing that we have in Excel also. And then over here, the price adjustment value is going to be the variable. So the moment I actually drag it, that value is being captured by this particular measure. So that is a variable right now, which can be used further, right? So let me just drag it and keep it like this. And now I have to create a measure. I have to think about it. I need to create a series for the adjusted revenue. Adjusted revenue will be based on the adjusted price. Now for adjusted price, we have to create a measure that will entertain this value which is coming from the slicer, which has been selected by the consumer. So first of all, I'll go to the all measures. Measures won't leave you, by the way. I'll right click and add a new measure. And I'm going to name this. Let it come over here and it will be activating the formula bar for us. It's working. And we will be going to create the adjusted price over here. So I would say adjusted, one second, adjusted price. It's going to be the price, the average price, and the multiplication by the percentage over here, right? So for this, I would say average of the price. I'm not sure, do we have the average price with us? Have we calculated? No. So I'll simply search for the average price, which is going to be the product price, multiply by 1 plus, and then the price adjustment value, which is coming from this slicer. So I'll simply select it and I'll close down the bracket and enter. Now this will give me the adjusted price. Still we have the price but not the revenue. Now once we have this in place, we have to calculate the adjusted revenue. So I'll again right click and add a new measure, and this time it's going to be adjusted revenue. So for this, it's coming up, and here it is, adjusted revenue, which is equals to it's going, how to calculate the revenue, by the way, you remember it's going to be sum x, the iterator function, and it's going to be the sales table. Inside the sales table is going to be quantity, which is the order quantity, multiply by not the price but adjusted price. Correct. So this is what you have thought of, and this is what we need to use, adjusted price. I'll simply close down the bracket and enter, and we'll end up having the adjusted price with us, and I'm going to use it into this visualization. So there I go, and I'll select this line chart, and I'm going to drop this adjusted revenue along with the revenue over here. So the moment we drop it, you will also notice something, that this forecast will go away because we are having two series now. And right now you can see only one single line. Let me just put it into the focus mode so that you'll be able to see it clearly. Over here you can see one is revenue and one is adjusted revenue. Right now adjusted revenue is overlapping the revenue. Why? Because you can see over here in the slicer it is at 0%. If the consumer want to see if they have would have increased the price by 10%, for example, I'll just change it, how it's going to impact the revenue. And now let me just release the mouse. And now you'll notice that, okay, there is a slight increase in the revenue because the price has been increased. And let me just drag it further to show you how it looks like. The difference is increasing because I have increased the price by 20%. Same goes for this. If I decrease the price by certain percentage, like 10%, I have decreased it, and now you can see actual revenue is higher than the adjusted revenue. So this is how you can actually create the what if parameter, and that can be done for many things in your model. And this way you can give control to the consumer, and they will be very happy because they will be able to know and make the informed decision based on such features of Power BI. Thank you so much.